Let's introduce our guests. First, please help me welcome author, musician, actor, drag extraordinaire, and a million other things, Bob the Drag Queen. A little commotion for the skirt. He made it himself.
I
did. Next, this evening's musical director and co-creator. I mean, the accolades this man has, we will be here all night if I told you who he worked with and everything that he has done. But I want you to give it up for Kevin Antunes, please. There he is.
Maybe I should stay standing.
You guys can sit down. I have to usher everyone in.
There it is. That makes
sense.
You
can sit. And tonight's hype man, an Atlanta-based rapper and lyricist. I want you guys to give it up for Ocean Kelly. So regal. Such a vibe.
I want to thank you all for coming out. I'm glad to see that the tariffs haven't affected tickets yet, so we're still doing good, honey.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. What's up?
We're so excited to have y'all here, but we don't have a lot of time, so we gotta get into these questions, okay? All right. Well, my first question is for you, Kevin. Can you explain how there's three different aesthetics here on the stage, okay?
We're going to three different parties. We're going to three different parties.
I'm so trying to just keep up. I just can't.
But now, can you explain how you all ended up together here in these chairs, like kind of how the project came together? What was your reaction when the phone call came from Bob about this project?
I was completely surprised and incredibly humbled and excited. Bob and I had a chance to work with this incredible woman, Madonna. And we started...
You may have heard of her.
I just cut right to it, right? We had the opportunity to work with her for this performance for Gay Pride. And I knew when we worked together, there was this chemistry. Because, as you all know, super intelligent, very quick-witted, very funny, very musical.
Madonna?
And,
I'm playing.
Yes, her too. So we really clicked, and then it graduated into a tour with her, and we turned it into something incredible. And it just carried forward till today.
And me and Kevin get along so well. We have such different personalities, but there's so many similarities too. So I just love her. And it was actually, I was actually scared to call you I was like, Kevin's not gonna win. Kevin's done everything. 3 Super Bowls. Kevin has done as a quarterback.
Everything.
Go Patriots.
Go Patriots. So I was like, Kevin is not gonna want to work on this. Like, he's worked with everyone. He's working like with Janet, with NSYNC, with like everyone. And then Kennedy was like, just call Kevin. Kennedy Warner, my assistant. Kennedy called the Uber. That Kennedy. She was like, just call Kevin. I was like, he's not gonna do it. He was in immediately.
That's amazing. As y'all can see, Bob's not gonna let me moderate this. He's gonna moderate this himself.
Drag me.
You can't put 2 divas on a stage. Okay. No, that's absolutely amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so my next question is for Ocean. Yeah. Okay, so we all know Bob as this big personality who is full of life, but I want to know, what was it like working with him in the studio? Because I have this theory that there are either students and sometimes what I like to call masters. Like, sometimes people come in, they know exactly what it is they want to do. And then sometimes it's just like a blank slate. So like, who is Bob the Drag Queen in the studio?
Well, we both have ADHD. So the process, prior to even doing these songs, we actually did I produced an EP for Bob called Gay Bars. I don't know if y'all heard Gay Bars.
Oh yes, amazing.
Actually it was during like the COVID times. We actually met by taking a COVID test, and we were like apart from each other, like, okay, let's make sure we good before we do this. But you remember? Yep. And then he was like, okay, we both good. Nice to meet you. Hey. So I think we both are similar in that we have so many ideas, but honestly, the ADHD kind of helped. We both will say something so fast, we be like, put this, okay,
Finishing each other's
and it works.
sentences.
I think we did the EP in maybe like a week, like beats, lyrics, and everything, just going back and forth. Yep.
It was 5 songs, so it was just 5 songs.
Still a week. Like sometimes it takes me a week for one song.
Yeah.
Well, you might be making different music to me. I don't know if the song "Take My Picture" takes the same.
I can't. So it was kind of like an easy process.
Yeah,
like it flowed.
It was easy. I think we have a lot of just like creative similarities, a similar sense of humor. So it was super easy and just super quick.
Amazing.
So.
That's amazing. Okay, Bob.
Love you so much.
I love you. Okay, Bob. So you have access to like so many people, probably producers and writers, and you've done so many things in your career. Why did you choose these two of everyone in the world to work with?
So I'm really lucky that I get to be friends with one of my favorite rappers. Like, it's true. Like, I ran across Ocean Kelly on Ocean Kelly is so funny. Y'all don't get how funny Ocean Kelly is. Like, insanely hilarious. And just like I found out Ocean Kelly good because he did this like remix of One Division, and then one of Agatha All Along. And I thought it was just so brilliant and so funny. Then I went down this deep rabbit hole. I think the one I went really crazy for was your Backyardigans remix that you did. And okay, but this is so funny. And then I found your other albums, and I was like, oh no, he is like more than just funny. He's insanely smart and talented, and just a great. I mean, truly a student of rap, like for real, for a long time. So, you know, it was such an instant, immediate, easy choice for me to pick Ocean Kelly to help me with this. Especially Ocean Kelly's really good with cadence and with rhythm and with flow, like a master of flow, and helped me out so much. If any of you heard the music, I sound very different on these two songs, and it's because Kelly was there with me in the booth, being like, try this, pushing me to the point where I almost lost my voice. And then, I mean, picking Kevin Antunes to help you on this. I mean, everyone picks Kevin Antunes. I mean, everyone from literally like, I mean, if he's good enough for, you know, Janet and Sierra and NSYNC, and then I guess he's good enough for me too.
You know, that's actually a good segue, because I did have a question about you sounding different on these tracks, because you sound completely different than the music that you've done before. So a question for you, Ocean, what part did you play in the vocal production of that, and why do you think people are hearing kind of like that new version of Bob, specifically for this project?
Well, I think it's because specifically with this project, Harriet had a mission and she had a goal, and there was intent behind it, so it had to come through as well lyrically. There was a moment in the studio, I almost like, we both kind of got a little teary-eyed, kind of just hearing like just his projection. And I'm sitting here watching him, thinking about how we did the EP versus, doing the music for this. You had on your black tank top looking like 50 Cent. And he was at the mic like, I was like, Bob, is that my sister Bob? My mother Bob?
Not my sister.
I don't walk with a limp.
But I'm screaming. But
I'm screaming.
So that was honestly like my personal like favorite part about the process, I think. Just realizing how much he pushed himself to get there, and it shows. And I mean, you continue to say that this is some of the best music you've ever wrote, and I fully agree. Like, this is an incredible project, and I'm so happy the songs are out now. Like, oh my god.
And also too, like, I mean, I do not have too much pride to acknowledge that. Like, I had a flow that I was doing, and then Kelly looked at the lyrics and then rapped it in his way, and then I was doing a lot of the stuff that Kelly was doing. I was like pushing myself to like a new height for me. So a lot of it is Kelly's flow that I'm like picking up, because I realized this is these are my songs, but this is like I'm creating something that's hopefully one day will be sung and rapped by someone who's not me. You know what I mean? So this is not like this shouldn't necessarily be a Bob the Drag Queen song, as much as a song that can go further and further, and hopefully one day as a play, and people can come see this, this piece of art.
I love that. Okay, so Kevin, you have a vast wealth of experience. Like I said, if I sat here and talked about what this man has done, we wouldn't get through this quick enough. So you have a vast well of experience writing and producing music. How was this project different than the others that you've worked on?
That's a good question. But this one was different because it's supported by the narrative of a book. That's the first time I've ever done something like this. Everything else has always been for a record or for a tour. So to add to what you were saying about the vocal production, because I was there watching what happened, the dynamic of the delivery of the vocals, if you listen to, especially Now I See, the tone starts here and it ramps up for the entire song. And it was designed that way to emphasize the story in the book. So if you were trying to score a picture, that's something that would be similar to this, because I had to go through, read some of these sections of the book, and then find out what makes it tick, and then help design the music, and then support the vocals that they were doing.
Wow. I hope some of you aspiring producers out there, because I know there's some of you are listening to what he just said, because you're basically saying storytelling with music. And that's incredible. That's a gift to have that, because not a lot of producers can do that. Some people are beat makers and some people are producers, and listening to that music, you a producer.
He's great.
Composer.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob. So what surprised you the most about writing and the producing process? What felt different?
Well, full T, when Kelly and I did the Gay Bars EP, not all of it, but a lot of it was done in Ocean Kelly's bedroom. Like, we was fully in his bedroom, like rapping, like, 10-4 wrapped around our heads. Like, we were like, so, and
Did you say 10 for?
I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic. It was copper. And this time, we went out. Now, Kevin has built this really beautiful studio in his home in Orlando, with the blue lights.
Oh my God,
I felt like I was on a spaceship half the time. So, it was a much nicer studio. I put a lot more time and effort. I have been writing these songs for probably 7 years now. Like, I started writing these songs way before I actually started working with them. That's why I came with like an idea and a rough draft and some lyric, and the lyrics already written out. And then Kelly and Kevin actually both helped me adjust the lyrics and make them a little bit, make them better. So I came with these songs, but it was the first time I really let someone like really change the music to a whole new thing. Like, it was a very different. I spent a lot more time and put a lot more effort into this music than I did my other music, to be
It's
honest.
the first time I ever really invited anybody into my house to work like that.
Oh, wow.
I don't usually do that. Usually what I do is I work on pieces of music for people and I send it to them. I don't usually have people stop by and it's first.
But I'm so charming.
And he stole my dog.
I did. The dog's obsessed with me. To be fair, the dog wanted to go.
Oh my God. You have no idea. My daughter went on TikTok. She's like, Dad, what is Bob the Drag Queen doing with Alfie?
Alfie chose me.
Now, you
For
can't
real.
be taking people's dogs.
I just opened the bag. Alfie jumped in. I was in my Harriet Tubman bag. I said, we going.
Apologize to that man and then taking his dog.
The dog has been returned.
Okay, since we are here, Bob, like, can you give us just like a brief overview of the history of this book and the project?
For sure. So I was doing Angels in America at the Berkeley Repertory Theater. I went to school for theater education because I wanted to be an actor, but when you want to be an artist, everyone tells you to get a backup plan. So I was like, I'll be a teacher if I can. Because I used to want to work with kids. That dream's dead. What was I thinking? But I was there at the Berkeley Repertory Theater doing Angels in America, and then Tony Taccone, who was the director of the show and the artistic director of the theater at the time, he said to me, he was like, we have this group here. It's called Ground Floor, and you come here and you work on any work you have. It can be a play, it can be music, any kind of performance art. We give you space and time to work on it, and you don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to do it here. You don't even have to perform if you don't want to. And then I was like, well, I have this idea called Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. And he was like, what?
Yes, what?
And I was like, valid response. And I was like, well, because I remember sitting at home and I said, I wonder what it'd be like if Harriet Tubman wrote a hip hop album. I would remember thinking I would listen to Harriet Tubman's hip hop album.
I mean, can I ask what? I'm sorry. I'm so. I don't even, because you had the flow, and I don't even want to interrupt. What was happening at the time where it was just like you were thinking about Harriet Tubman, and then you were thinking about hip hop, and then you were like, let's do a book, and then I'm gonna make it songs. Like, what exactly was going through your head?
That's a valid question. So I have been obsessed with Harriet Tubman for a very, very long time. I love Harriet Tubman. Whenever we did those book reports in school, and I'm from Atlanta, we take Black History Month it's Black History Year, okay? We take it very, very seriously. I always chose Harriet. Whenever I had a chance, there was sometimes like, you gotta do somebody else. I was like, I wanna do Harriet again. Every time you learn about her, you learn something new that sounds so unbelievable. So I am always thinking about Harriet Tubman, constantly thinking about Harriet Tubman. And then, she actually did use music in her work. That's actually not far-fetched at all. She was saying, now it's not like Cynthia Erivo was belting in the woods. That's
oh no, that's not it. Wrong movie. Sorry.
like, girl, we running away. Why you screaming in the woods? No, what was quite common was for conductors to go to the edge of the woods and sing softly, right? And then the next nearest enslaved person would hear the song, then they would start singing, and then the next, and everyone's singing, so now you can't tell where the music's coming from. And that's the signal that someone's gonna be delivered tonight. So she actually did use music in her work as an abolitionist. So it's actually not far-fetched. Now, if obviously this is an imagining of Harriet Tubman. I did not know if she was here. She might not like hip-hop, you know? She might be into Nora Jones. I don't know what she'd be into. But this is my imagining of what it would be like if she was here.
I love that. I leave it to you. Just leave it to you. Okay, Kevin. As we're talking about, like, this is just different. This was, different from any other project that you've done. What was the most challenging part of the project? And if you want to say that Bob was a diva, we're here to listen.
I mean, just being up here is hilarious. So imagine what it's like in the studio. All day long. That's literally what it was.
So focus was a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
Luckily for me, we'd spent almost 2 to 3 years together on tour, so I kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah, having that rapport probably was amazing.
But when it was time to lock down and pull everything together, something magical, and you guys have to admit it, something magical.
Oh, no, for sure.
It happened. It happened on Now I See.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. It was in the middle section.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's true.
Okay, we've been jumping around, so let me see where I'm at. Bob, what are you going to take from this process into the next phase of Harriet? Yes, there is a next phase. Ooh, that's so louder. They're so excited.
So I intend. So it started as a play, and then I got a book deal actually, and they were like, "Do you want to write a memoir or some short stories?" And the truth is, I'm not even trying to be funny. I would not read my own memoir. Like it's not a book I would want to read. You probably think my life is more crazy than it is, but it's really not. I go on stage, I tell my jokes, I go home, and I play PlayStation. That is all I do. That book's not good. Everyone's like, "But you met Madonna." I'm like, "Yeah, in her 60s. We were not doing coke. We were dancing and singing and then going back to our respective places to sleep. We weren't doing
stretching and going to bed."
Exactly. Madonna's a mother of 6 when I met her, okay? So we weren't doing nothing crazy. So I was like, I want to write about, I had this idea for this. It was either this or this book called The Last White Person on Earth. That's a different story. One day I'll write that book. Isn't that kind of crazy? I love a name. Like a name will catch me. If I saw a book called The Last White Person, I'm like, I'm reading this book. What was the question?
I knew it was coming. I said
ADHD.
The
I told
railroad.
you, ADHD.
That Underground Railroad has gone off the tracks. Them train is. Woo.
I thought I was gonna make it back.
The question was,
the next step.
what are you going to take from this process into the next phase of Harriet?
There it is. So the next phase is to be able to finish this play. I am an actor. I mean, my main, I'm a stand-up comedian. That's my bread and butter for the past couple of years, past like 15 years now. But I am an actor. That's how I started my love for the theater and for performing was through acting. So I do want to get this back on. I want to get this on stage. I want to get it on stage. I want to get the music and this book written. And I have not written a play in years. My God, the last play I wrote was a parody of Little Shop of Horrors, and it was called Little Shop of Whores. And instead of a big talking plant, it was a big talking. And instead of drinking blood, you can imagine what it drank. So it's true. So I am that was in my 20s. So I'm in a very different place writing wise. I've gone from that to a New York Times best-selling novel.
Period.
So don't let anyone tell you that you cannot change courses or shift or even go. I'm still gonna be going back and writing silly stuff too. I mean, I will always be silly and goofy. So I'm gonna take I've learned so much from these two and just from this process, from writing this book, from my editor James Malia, that I intend to take into this project. It took me 4 years to write the book.
Wow.
4 years. So hopefully I can get this one done in like less time than that because I really want to see this. ADHD. I have 80 of them.
I do.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. So hopefully I can learn from that process, I can figure it out and cut straight to the good stuff with the stuff that was working and forget about the stuff that was like holding me back,
I love it. Okay, Kevin and Ocean. What do you both, since we're already talking about kind of like the future, what do you both envision for the rest of this album and production after the first 2 singles have released and after reading the book?
Well, I think what's going to be really exciting is how I think unorthodox the process is going to be in terms of like, we were just talking about it yesterday, the actual instruments they were using of the time. And my big thing is taking the strangest instrument and pushing to try to create like something cool and lyrical over that. So I really think we're going to make some incredible, unique, I don't know. I'm just excited. Like, I really think we're going to do something different with this.
There'll be bangers. There'll be bangers for sure.
Bangers, absolutely.
Banger after banger after banger.
Yeah, I have to say, the way that you guys kind of took the old and the new and, like, the spiritualness, like, you really, really feel the music. But I don't want to interrupt. Kevin, you also. What do you envision for the future?
I agree completely. I think that when you have somebody that's putting together a play based off of a book of, somebody incredible like Harriet, to create songs that we want to perform for everyone is it's mind-blowing because there's so many different musical directions you can go. You can take them all. Yeah. You can use sections, you can use pieces, not to reference Sinners, but if you haven't seen it, like, go see it because the music.
Spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. I'm just saying the music is its own
it
element. And that's a perfect example of how somebody looked at the music of the times and used it.
I also have a lot of pressure. I have to get this show on Broadway. I'm not supposed to say this. I got in trouble for saying this, but I promised Kevin's wife that we were going to go on Broadway so she can go back to New York City because she does not want to live in Florida anymore. And she was like, Kevin was like, why did you tell her that?
Why are you telling everybody this?
Hey, listen.
Somebody's recording this.
It's out there now. Now y'all got to make it happen.
She's so going to kill me.
Okay, but why Harriet Tubman now? Like, why this now?
Well, I think what her story still matters. It matters, first of all, when they're trying to like literally erase her from all, like, the Trump administration has recently had an attack on the African American History Museum, and they're changing this story because I want to be clear. Abolitionists, they were not just black abolitionists, but it would be completely ridiculous to say that black people were not doing the bulk of the work. And it was our liberation. It was our liberation. You know what I mean? And I've always said that in order for racism to be dismantled in America, white people are going to have to participate. You literally you have to participate. You know what I mean? But that being said, to like take Harriet's picture and then just move it up to a stamp and then put it up amongst all these other folks and just throw in all these other white people who were certainly doing the work and helping, but like it is erasure. And I was writing this before that even happened. I think when I started writing this play, Donald Trump was president, and then Joe Biden was president. When I finished it, Trump was president again. It took me, because I read it at the end of his last term, all the way through Biden's term, and then it came out this year. So I think it's really, really important now. There's a quote that I have. It says, your history is yours. I can't nobody take that from you. It's a quote from the book, and they are trying to take our history from us. But it's like the history is real. It exists. You know what I mean? And the only way to make history stop existing is to just scrub it out of your brain. You ever seen the movie Coco? You know when people vanish away when the last person forgets about you?
Yes.
They're trying to make the last people forget what happened so they can make our history vanish away. But if we keep talking about it, if we keep telling everyone, black people are great orators, we're great storytellers because we weren't even allowed to read and write. So the only way we could get our stories passed on was to keep telling them over and over again until someone wrote it down. So we have to keep telling our stories.
And we thank you. We thank you for telling that story. Because so often Harriet Tubman feels like a myth as you get older. It just feels like a folklore, like a story. But when you really break it down, that no, she's the reason that I'm here, you're here, we have the freedom that we have. So thank you for putting that in a book. And thank you for making this incredible music.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for talking to me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Those are kind of like my last questions. But is there anything that any of you want to just say about the project? Anything, any of y'all three about the project that
I think we've said it all.
And you
Well,
said it
I
all.
was just letting them go first so I can have the last word. That's what I was looking over. First of all, I don't know how many of you all have had a chance to buy, listen to, or read my book. I am so incredibly grateful. The fact that I made it on the New York Times best-selling list as a novelist is honestly crazy. Hardcover novel is like one of the hardest lists to get on. I mean, I came in at dead last, but I'm on that motherfucking list.
You want it?
I'm on the list. And because I often think about, because a lot of celebrities write books. Few of us write fiction. Me and Tyra Banks wrote Model Land. I'm obsessed with Tyra Banks in the craziest way possible.
Let's talk about that later, Bob.
Oh, we will talk. Okay, thank you. Back on track. But what I want to tell you all this, though, if you haven't had a chance, you can go to readthedragqueen.com to get the book. You can listen to it anywhere you get your audiobooks. You can listen to it. It is a very easy read, a very easy listen. And I'm so incredibly proud of this, y'all. It really is important. It feels super important to me. And I've been getting really great feedback. And the internet loves to be mean. And they've been so nice about this book.
Because it's great.
I'm grateful.
It really is great. It's a great story. It's exciting. It's dramatic. It made me mad at some points. It made me cry at some points. It's incredible. So if you have not, please read it. Okay, can we get the lights up? Because we're going to get into this Q&A.
Yes, honey. Let's get into these spaces, honey.
Now, what was the operative word of the Q&A that I said earlier?
Breathe.
Hey, y'all are quick. Love this for us.
Quick but brief.
So we're going to have a couple of questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand. I'll ask you to stand up, and then you're going to project because we only have these microphones. Please stand. Nice coat. Love it. Hi.
Next question.
Now look.
I mean, pound for pound, me.
If we're talking literal. Okay, now listen. Keep it cute.
Or you'll be murdered. Why did I say that? Because I'll do it.
Does anyone else have a question?
Over here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm afraid to say it, but I've already said it out loud. So I might as well say it again. So, okay. In my dream world, and I haven't said this yet too, because in my dream world, if you read the book yet, Moses is Lakeith Stanfield for me. I think the person who should play Odessa. I haven't told her that it was how I was.
He plays me.
Imagine how brilliant that would be. And in my dream world, for me, Harriet Tubman would be Doechii. I would love to have Doechii play Harriet Tubman. Doechii, are you watching? I don't know the words. I don't know the lyrics. I'm the rap Grace Jones. I would have it for way too long.
That would eat down so hard.
Did I just upset her by doing that?
That would eat down so hard. I love that. Okay.
And also because the Harriet Tubman, so I've been on Harriet Tubman's 4'11", 4'11", and Doechii's is I don't know, she's not that short, but like it is like she visually speaking, she is what I would want. She is dark skinned, she is powerful, she is a brilliant rapper. If I ever got to hear her voice doing these lyrics, I would just fly through the roof. It'd be insane.
Wow. That's incredible. I love that. Now it's out there, so. It's out there now. Anyone else? Right here? I'll get you next.
Big fan. I've been watching this since I was in middle school.
Not too much. Not too much. To be fair, we were both in middle school. We went to school together.
She made it worse. She said she's about to graduate.
Sarah, my classmate from... See you since middle school. Where you been?
Oh my God.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but I love you so much, and I would just love to learn more about what principles guide you throughout life. What principles do you live by, and what do you follow? Especially because you're hopping through so many different processes. Yeah, I just love to learn more about those guiding principles.
You know, I am a mama's boy at the very core. If anyone who knows anyone who knew my mom, my mother passed away last year. Anyone who knew my mom, I am turning. You ever do something you're like, I'm my mother. I'm my mother. This is crazy. I've turned into Martha Caldwell. And so, you know, my mother is a big guiding force in my life. Even though she's gone now, I still think about her all the time. Her voice is constantly in my ear. Anything I've ever done that's like productive or good or is probably for my mom. And some of the bad stuff, backwise, I have her from my mom too. So, you know, and my mom used to always say this one thing. She always say, when I have a hard time focusing, obviously you can tell. And my mother would always say, Christopher, only she calls me Christopher. Please, if you see me in the street, do not call me Christopher. She'd always go, Christopher, just put the first things first. Just put the first things first. Just do the first thing and then do the next first thing. Because there's no second thing. It's just the first thing and then the next first thing and then the next first thing. And then you're just done doing the things once you get through a process. So I've been able to do that. And also, I don't talk about this a lot, but I'm sober. I've been sober for 16 years. I've learned a lot. Thank you. I've learned a lot in my life through a certain fellowship. And if you know, you know. And a lot of my principles come from that as well. Yeah. Thank you.
You clap. He lives for the applause.
I do.
I'm right here.
Hi. So I'm a college professor, and you were almost an educator. And I'm wondering what you would imagine this work looking like in curriculum, since it's a necessity for our history to hold and passed on down to future generations. And there's an attack on education right now.
If I'm being fully honest, this is my first novel, and I am a college dropout. So this is the words in this book. It's not like by the yonder of the, you know, like I write how I speak. You know what I mean? And also, people are like, this would be great in like a middle school, but it's a lot of niggas in this book. It's a whole lot of like nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, but also we read what's that? Huck Finn.
Huckleberry Finn, yeah.
We read Huck Finn, so I guess niggas belong in middle school.
That was hard ER.
But it's very
A little different.
But you know, I want to be clear. This book is not a history lesson. There is history in here. You will learn things, and the stuff I'm talking about in this book is corroborated by several historians. Just to be clear, like you get to learn about this remarkable abolitionist named Benjamin Lay, who was from Philadelphia. He was a little person. He was a Quaker, and he was so like intense in the way that he was an abolitionist. He was removed from his fellowship, from his friendship, and to be removed from a Quaker church, baby, they put up with a lot of shit. Okay, they were like, nigga, you crazy. So you get to learn a lot in this book, and I know this is the kind of book that I would have wanted to read at any point in my life. Like I only want to create the kind of art that I want to consume. I tell the kind of jokes I want to hear. I write the kind of books I want to read. I make the kind of music I would want to listen to. And someone told me a while back, you know, just if you don't have to go looking for your audience. You might have to wander for a long time in the desert But you're going to run into someone who's like you. If you just keep wanting long enough, you're going to run into someone. Some people have a bigger, wider grasp. Some people just relate. More people relate to them. And I'm lucky that a lot of people relate to me and who would want to read something like Harriet Tubman live in concert. Because I remember I spoke to Gayle King, America's latest astronaut who went to the moon.
You know, by proximity, you gonna get me in trouble. By proximity.
But Gayle King was like, she was like, this book title. I was like, what in the world? And I was like, that is so valid. That is so valid. So there's two kind of people. The ones who are like, oh my God, I want to read that based on the title. And then someone who's like, oh, I heard the book was good, so I'll read it because I heard about it. And it is a bit, obviously, it's intentionally provocative, the title, to make people really think or want to grab the book. But I think, in my humble opinion, I don't know how to work in curriculum because I am not a scholarly person. I'm not a educator. I dropped out of college in my third year. I only have one. I should go back. I just hit you.
Wrap it up, Bob.
Long story short, I do think that people should be reading this book at any age. I think it's appropriate for, like, 7th grade and up, in my humble opinion.
I will say that it is more educational than you thought because I had no idea what a Quaker was. All I thought about was Quaker oats.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I thought that they was walking around with the little bonnets and and then when I read the book, I was like, that's what a Quaker is?
That's what a Quaker is, yeah.
A Quaker? I love to talk to people.
Yeah. Well, there are still, you can become a friend.
Tell me what I think and my opinions.
They're called friends. You can go, when you go to like a Quaker church, the meetings they have, there's no preacher. You all just sitting around, you face each other, and when the spirit moves you, you just get up and start talking. And sometimes the spirit would move you in a way that they would just be so moved, they would start like shaking. That's why they were called Quakers.
I would play way too much to be at that church. I changed my mind.
Well, I have heard that in some Quaker schools, people use the meetings to just gossip. But like, oh, the spirit moved me to say, Jessica's a bitch. I'm sorry, the spirit moved me.
So I did learn something.
Oh,
So it is educational. Is there any more questions out in the audience? Right here.
I'm so sorry that you won't be able to be on CBS Mornings now with Gayle King. But,
I did it once. Once was enough.
I'm curious because it's a little controversial. Like, has there been any pushback from whoever has the rights? Like, how do you get the rights to her story and convince them that you want to make her live in concert?
So when you're a public figure, you don't have to have rights to public figures. Even people who are living to this day. Like, I don't know if y'all remember or not, but there was a movie called W that came out maybe like, my God, 2008 maybe. And it was about George W. Bush. And his family really did not want this written. But they were like, he's the fucking president. He's a public figure. We're going to write the movie. It's out. And what are you going to do about it? And the answer was, we're going to sit there and buy tickets. There's nothing they can be doing about it. That's not why to be fair, that's not why I was not writing books like, I want to stick it to the Tubman family. And anyone who's if you read the book, you'll know it is written with a lot of reverence. Like, I know I'm very silly. I'm a very goofy person. This is not, I know on the paper, this title sounds like an SNL sketch, but when you actually get into the book, you realize there is so much reverence and care taken for this remarkable, I call her America's first black superhero because she really is. She literally had literal precognition. She knew things that were going to happen before they actually happened, like literally. She did all of this at 4'11", born below the Mason-Dixie, could not read, could not write, had a very severe traumatic brain injury, and she lived to be in her 90s. Like, when it's at a time where the average death for anyone, let alone a black woman, was half of that. You know what I mean? She is just a remarkable person. And I certainly, hope that anyone who reads this book understands that none of this is done out of any, hee ha ha, isn't Harriet Tubman a great gag or a great bit. It's done because of the reverence that I have for Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, you can feel it in the book. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And also the Audible version as well. I'm definitely somebody who, when I first got the book and I tried to read it, I was like, okay, it's taking me a little minute because you just be doing so many tasks. But in the gym, in your car, like wherever, when you clean it, like you can listen to the Audible, and it's really cool because at the end you also get the music. So,
Young man in the black, shirt in the very, very back. Yes.
Oh, Marvin. That's my friend Marvin.
Hi, Marvin.
Nigga, what you want? Wait, what? Well, I haven't. I am an actor, but like the truth is, I have not. I went to school for acting, and then I took a massive break, and then it was 10 years later when I did Angels in America. It took me. Angels in America is not a play you jump back into. It is a behemoth of a play. It's 2 plays. There are 7 hours altogether. It's insane. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And then since then, like no shade, the acting I've done since then has been like, can you be a drag queen? It goes, put a cat conk, yes, Miss Mama, you better slay, diva. And like, it's really not hard work, you know what I mean? It's not. And I want to get back to the acting that I was doing, like when I was in Angels in America and when I was in college and I was in high school even, is more intense than the acting I'm doing now. Nowadays, these Hollywood directors and producers and writers do not know how to write drag queens. It is so offensive. I'm like, does y'all think I'm at home going, Miss God, coffee maker, you better make that coffee, Like when the Uber Eats drops, I say thank you, and I take the food inside. I don't do a dip and duck walk and grab. I'm like, what? So I've learned in life through drag and through stand-up comedy, because I moved to New York City to be a Broadway actor, but no one told me to be on Broadway, you need to be able to sing and dance. No one told me, but I was already there.
Yeah.
I was already there. I learned I'm better at making the kind of work I want to see. Like if I want to get cast in the show I want to do, I have to write it myself. You know what I mean? Because you are a effeminate black gay man. There are like 8 of us. You know what I mean? And all of them are more established than me. They're going to go to Billy Porter or Titus Burgess or one of them before they get to me, before they go down the line. And if it gets to me and it's a big role, I'm like, who said no? You know what I mean? Y'all still mad at Billy Porter? Like, is it my turn now? Amber didn't say that. These thoughts are my own, and it does not reflect the thoughts of this panel. So it has given me the courage to when I wanted to be on Broadway, I realized like if I want to be on Broadway, I'm going to have to write the play myself and get it up there myself. That's the kind of person I am. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, in that approach, yes.
And you're the one that's doing the audio book.
I read the audiobook myself. And
that's acting. Like, that's a part of doing it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, we have one. Let's do.
Can we do the Bob? The Bob, yes, honey.
Only if she do this. Yep. All right.
And so with what you've created, I'm interested in thinking about Harriet Tubman as an abolitionist. What is she saying to you for such a time as now? As we should be creating and your messages in that art that connects to how we would continue abolitionist work in her lineage for the city.
So the goalpost for freedom has moved, right? And Harriet Tubman was someone who was constantly working, like she never stopped. You know how easy it would have been? Harriet Tubman passed away in the 1900s, I think 1912, I think. And the Emancipation Proclamation signed in 1865. And she was still working all that time in between then. Most people imagine this, right? You cross the Mason-Dixie line. You're free. You have made it. You can be like, I'm good. Harriet was like, no, I'm going back. I'm going to go back and get somebody. Now you do it once. No, more people need to come. No, more people need to come. No, more people need to come. Harriet Tubman has done that. Now Harriet Tubman is working as a spy for the military. Harriet Tubman comes up with a plan. She's the only woman in the history of America to lead a U.S. military mission. She is a general in certain, listed as a general in certain states as well. She led a mission, created this idea with other generals where you go from one plant. She gets some black infantry soldiers and some white infantry soldiers. They go to a plantation, take it over, go up the Combahee River, take over another. They tell those recently enslaved freed people, if you want to come join us and fight for your freedom, you can come to the next plantation. They do it twice, hit up 3 plantations, free. But people don't know that she freed over 600 people in one night. A lot of people don't know that about Harriet Tubman. Now the Emancipation Proclamation signed, you could be done. She's not done. So now she's working as a suffragette. And then she's also a community builder. She ended up living in a retirement home that she set up for formerly enslaved people in New York. Like when the work could have been done, she just never stopped because the goalpost for freedom just keeps moving. So you just have to keep going with it. You have to just keep going with it nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. I was watching Wicked. You know, in the real world, you think you're Elphaba. We all think we're Elphaba. You know what I mean? But to be Elphaba is, you know how much you have to give up? But everyone doesn't have to be Elphaba. You know what I mean? So you got to do what you have to do. I was on this panel once talking about activism and what you can do to help move the needle forward. And this one lady was like, well, tweeting's not enough. And I was like, well, baby, everyone can't go on the streets and march. Everyone, like, what a privileged position for you to be like, well, some people anxiety can't let them leave the house. Some people's bodies won't let them leave the house. But some people can go online and just share information. And then that information gets someone who can go out and do something. Not everyone can donate money, but the people who can, they donate their money. When Harriet Tubman was going around and telling her story to people, they would do these big meetings where abolitionists and formerly enslaved people who are abolitionists as well would get up and tell their stories to encourage people who don't want to actually be on the front lines to just give money so the abolitionists can do their work. And the amount of times Harriet had to tell these stories, imagine having to tell the most grueling stories of your life just to get people to give money. There were enslaved people who would go up there and all they would do was take off their clothes and show how destroyed their bodies have been by the brutalization of American chattel slavery. And then that would tell people, I'm going to do the part I can. You know what I mean? So don't ever let someone make you think that reach the end of your capacity. Because if you burn yourself out, if you go beyond your own capacity, you're going to become useless in the end. Go to the edge of your capacity. You know what I mean? And if you keep working, you'll build your capacity up. Maybe next time, if you have anxiety, maybe next time you'll find a group that can help you go out there. You know what I mean? If you don't have the money, maybe in the future you will have the money. You know what I mean? So just keep doing what you can, and maybe your capacity will grow with you.
That's a word from Bob, the drag queen. That was unfortunately our last question because we want to get to this music. Yes?
Yes, I do.
Are y'all ready? You sound ready. I didn't even have to tell y'all to do it twice. Give it up for everybody on this panel. Kevin Antunes, Ocean Kelly, and Bob, the drag queen. And next you'll be hearing the music.